Hello and welcome to my channel, Vintage Elegance Inspiration. This is Karen and it is Thursday before Easter weekend. I am happy to share with you my newest project, which is Shabby Chic French Blue 3.0 and 4.0. I have used the same kits, digital kits from PaperDaisyJournals, which is Kylie from Australia. And this time I have used covers in some beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, custom dyed French blue vintage lace by Suzi Oberman from Mary.Not.Martha on Etsy. And a lot of the trims and stuff inside are from her as well. I've got some beautiful Cupro ties here. They're very similar to silk, but they are just a different texture, and I'm really infatuated with the texture. They're amazing. So we have number 3 and number 4 here. I have also done the previous journals in the velvet, and this time I just wanted to change it up and do the lace, but they're using all the same digital kits. You may notice too that I also did a little bit of repair work. I added some trim here. This piece was just too short. I wasn't happy with it. And then I added this little hair clip, which is a vintage butterfly on this cover. So this is 2.0. And this is 3 and 4. So I'm going to start with number 3, which is this one. And this one is available. If anybody is interested in purchasing it, you can reach me by my Facebook page, which is Vintage Elegance Inspiration. Also Instagram, you can private message me on either, or send me an email to vintageeleganceinspiration@gmail.com. Very easy. The words all run together. It's not separated as 3 separate words. So let's start with this one. We've got this beautiful vintage lace and an applique here with sequins and pearls. I've got some vintage pearl trim here on the top, a gorgeous doily. And you can put any photo or picture you would like in here. I've left this space open. This digital is left over from the previous project that I did. We've got some beautiful vintage buttons on the spine. Actually, some of these are antique. And I was just so thrilled when I found them. Back is fairly simple. It's just got the beautiful lace. I've used some artisan paper underneath the lace and on top of the craft text cover. It is 8 inches by 6 inches, the cover, 8 3/8. I've used the eyelets here, still got glue all over my fingers, and some beautiful, lovely beads at the bottom. So we have 15 pages each journal, and times 4, 60 pages, page size total. So I've got some of Sheila's beautiful trim on both the inside and the back covers, and just left a tuck spot here. Some gorgeous artisan paper, which I've sewed around. What I do is, I've been asked this, so I'll just repeat it. I sew every layer once, like so. It's just sewn one time. So I do the outside cover, the inside cover, and then I sew them. So there's only one stitch line. And then this piece is glued on. So here we've got a tag made with some beautiful trim from Sheila's Royal Blue lace package. Some vintage trim here. And this particular flower is called the Balm of Gilead. Just got a small envelope made with some music sheet, some of my beautiful fibers, and just a little note paper tucked inside. I'm not going to undo it. And just a small journaling card from Tim Holtz. believe that collection is either Field Notes or Keepsakes. I get them mixed up. So these pages are pretty much in the same order as my previous journals, slightly different. Trims are slightly different, but a lot of them are the same. So I'm not going to take too much time going through it. Some tea-dyed netting here and a tiny tag that I've used a paper punch with. Gorgeous vintage handkerchief that I've used on the side with some pink flowers in it. Some blush colored vintage lace and trim. Another digital image. I think those are Mrs. Cogg's wood sorrel. I just had a few of them. I just kind of wanted to do something different other than beautiful ladies all the time. Here we have a side pocket made with some of the lace that I got from Suzi, and a tag with some sheet music and a beautiful image. Those are from Gi Kerr, and they are her vintage ladies. Vintage ladies journal, I think it is. Here are some gorgeous antique buttons that I got at a show recently from an antique dealer. And they're just so beautiful. Perfect color French blue. Some of the images from the kit and just a journaling card in this top pocket. Gorgeous antique French lace and some beautiful vintage trim. Blue parchment paper. Here I have added some crochet trim on the side of the page and sewn on some vintage buttons in blue. Got some lovely lace here, vintage lace as a pocket. And this little tag, I used some scrapbooking paper. I did some embossing on some pink parchment paper and just added this leftover crochet trim that I had and one of the Tim Holtz images. She has some tiny pink flowers and trim on her outfit, and I just wanted to emphasize those by using the pink. A little bit more pink in this journal than in the last blue ones, because I think they go so well together. Here I've used this technique and this beautiful French blue lace on the side edge with some of this beautiful fiber trim that I've gotten. Here, this is an vintage or antique applique and some blue parchment paper that I've embossed. Here's a tag made out of the Tim Holtz wallpaper and one of the images from Gi Kerr. Vintage Ladies Journal. I have stenciled in sky blue archival ink and script stamped throughout. I didn't do any stamping on the backs of the journaling cards or tags this time because I had enough going on with the stenciling and the script stamping. Here's this page you have seen before if you've watched my videos. A tall tag with some beautiful vintage French lace in the top. And another belly band there. I've got two. That's just a Tim Holtz ephemera piece. And I chose this one that said Crown Diamonds because there's a little crown here with some bling in it. All the pages have been tea-dyed, as I mentioned. And over the page, we've got this beautiful trim. I believe Sheila calls it gimp trim. I just love the color. It's just so phenomenal. This is more of a muted French blue greeny color. And one of the butterflies fussy cut from the kit. Digital kit. Lots of room for journaling. A bluebird there. Some sheet music. Little tuck spot with some Tim Holtz ephemera. Here I've got a crochet doily on this page with one of the images from Gi Kerr. And I've just made a little booklet, sewn some vintage lace onto the cover, and sewn it with pamphlet stitch like we do our signatures, big signatures, and just added some tiny little beads on the strings. These are agate beads. I'm just so in love with them. They're just amazing. And another journaling card in here. Lots of textures going on. I've also got a piece of white vintage lace here, scalloped edge, and then this vintage lace trim here that straddles over the page. Some script stamping and stenciling. I like these to hang over the edge. Come on, little guys. And here we've got a page that has been tea dyed. This is just scrapbook paper. And I added some of Suzi's beautiful appliques that she's custom dyed in the French blue for me. I absolutely love these. These are amazing. And I love it when they hang over the page edge. I hope you can see that and get the full impact. Here we've got some of my Anna Griffin paper. I'm down to scraps now, especially in the blue. I've got a bit of pink and a bit of green, so hopefully I can use those in a few more journals. And then some beautiful vintage lace that was gifted to me, and some crinkled seam binding. Here we've got a tag with vintage lace and a beautiful image of some botanic flowers. And blue vintage lace trim up here. Love this one. Journaling space. This envelope was made with a leftover sheet of paper from the previous project I did. Just tucked some journaling paper in there and put a pretty blue piece of bling on a paper clip here, dangling over the edge. This tag is made from Tim Holtz wallpaper, vintage lace, and some vintage, what do you call that? Swiss dot. One of the images from the kit. And I thought it coordinated beautifully together with this page. Some vintage cotton eyelet here with black stitching. I've used blue thread for everything. Quite often I will sew on the lace to the page edges with sort of cream colored thread, but this time I used blue for absolutely everything. And here we've got the center of the signature with some tags made out of Edith Holden book page, some large Sizzix die cuts, and backed onto parchment paper. I used April and May because those are the months that we are currently in between. Beautiful lace from Suzi. And I used some great big beads in these gorgeous colors of blue. You would have seen this one from the previous journal that I did. I got a strand of them, and these are pretty much using them all up. And I just love them. I don't mind that they're heavy and dangly. That's just my style. Then on this page, I've got some beautiful crocheted cream colored trim and these antique buttons, which I attach to bulb pins and just have them dangling over the side of the page. Beautiful image from the digital kit and parchment paper in blue. Another image from the kit. And this is one of Gi Kerr's digitals, some blush colored vintage lace and pink colored vintage trim. Just some scrapbooking paper that goes really well with this kit. Here we've got another envelope, and I've used one of the butterfly die cuts from the kit, added some blue vintage lace and a vintage applique of a blue flower. And that just straddles the page here with a paper clip and some of the tea-dyed Swiss dot netting that I have. Another page for journaling. You've got lots of space here to add more ephemera if you like. Also here, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lace from Suzi. I'm sure this is silk. If not silk, then it's satin, but it's just so amazing. It's the last piece that I have. Some vintage trim over the music sheet music paper. Some book page with one of the Tim Holtz die cuts. And a beautiful vintage lace pocket that I've used here hanging over the side of the page. And I've made this tag out of music scrapbook paper and some blush colored vintage lace that I've just gathered up the side, or ruched. And one of the images from the kit, and stitched with blue thread. Love this paper combination. This color is just so very French blue to me. I just think it's gorgeous. A gray, greeny blue combination. This tag has some vintage blue lace, some crinkled seam binding, Tim Holtz ephemera piece. This is just scrapbook paper. And then again, some blue vintage lace trim. And on this side, I've got one of the appliques from Ravioli Dreams on Etsy. She is Nikki. And lots of room for journaling on the inside here. Some embossed paper. And just clip it together here. Beautiful vintage blue lace trim there. And I've got one of the images from the kit. And just a piece of ephemera here from Tim Holtz. Can go either way in that pocket. And I just added the sentiment Vintage Ladies Journal. This color of lace is absolutely stunning. Beautiful. That is from Sheila, from her royal blue lace package. And then I've just added some antique French lace at the top. This tag I made with some scrapbook paper, and I chose a color that matched her dress. It was just so stunning. This is one of the images from the kit. Some vintage lace underneath it, so it's just layered up. And then as the topper, I used some vintage eyelet cotton scalloped trim, lace trim. A little tiny tag made out of Edith Holden book page, attached to a bulb pin. And on this side, I've got some, and I'm forgetting the word again. I did the same thing last time. Fringe. Can be used as a tuck spot as well, if you like. Tea-dyed tracing paper. Here we've got another pocket made out of the Anna Griffin paper with some beautiful lace, vintage lace, and the crinkled seam binding. Here I've got a tag made out of this lovely artisan paper. I don't think they have it at Joann's anymore. I went to buy some more by the sheet and they have discontinued it, which really made me sad. I just backed it onto some blue parchment paper and stitched around in blue thread. And here, cascading over the page edge, I've got some beautiful blue applique piece and a butterfly that is from Renee Bouquets, made out of that, what do you call it? The sugar crystal glitter stuff. It's amazing. It's just beautiful. Some vintage fabric trim on this side of the page that I just gathered and sewn on. A vintage blue handkerchief with an applique from Nikki at Ravioli Dreams. I've got a few of the tags I had made with the chiffon from the blue vintage apron. And then I just added some of the lace from Suzi and a tag topper with some more of her beautiful lace. This is some linen paper, and I've just stitched it into place with blue thread. A little image of these French fashion ladies. I love this lace on the side. It's really wide and very, very gathered. And this time what I did was I just tucked in a little Tim Holtz piece here. It says love with all your heart. I don't know if I can get it back in there, so I'm just going to leave it out for now. That is the last page to write on in the journal. And some more beautiful crocheted vintage lace on the page edge here. Here's my logo, Vintage Elegance Inspiration. Some more of Sheila's beautiful embroidered trim and the artisan paper. I made a few booklets with this project. This one has some of the beads over the side, some lace, some paper, just collaged together, and one of the images of the French ladies. And then I've just included a few scraps and pieces of paper for extra journaling space. So that one is journal number 3. And I am going to sign off here, and I'm going to do the next video, which is going to be no talking. So you've seen a lot of my techniques. I've tried to explain what I use. You will see some different things, slightly different. But again, this one is available if you're interested. Just reach out to me either by email or through Facebook Messenger. Vintage Elegance Inspiration. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful Easter. God bless you all.